excuse me.
You're excused.
Did people see that?
Nope, but they may have heard it. I'm not sure. Did you just burp
What are you
into the
talking
mic?
about? I think I let one slip by accident.
Oh my god.
A gentleman never tells and a lady never asks.
Well, I ain't either. So welcome.
It is Talk Tuesday, my friend.
Yes, once again, we are here. Parallax is in the... No, he says he saw it. He saw the slip. He's like, I didn't see shit.
Why can't I see anybody in chat right now? What's going on?
Uh-oh.
What the hell's going on? Oh, there it is.
Parallax, why have you been coming in and saying "ugh" every time? I'm so curious.
He does that every time.
No,
I think we talked about it last time.
Every time he comes in with the Ermagerd word puzzles, and I have to figure out...
No, sorry. Because Charlie Brown. Ugh.
Oh,
That's what he.
I never knew that.
So,
anyway,
but Andrew,
yes,
you wanted to start off with something because you said it was cold and you didn't want it to melt.
I sure did. So here, oh my god, it's starting to melt a little bit already.
Hurry up!
I say it at work when something silly happens. You know, the weird thing is, though, what I'm about to show you is even when it melts, it doesn't melt fully. Here's something. If you're here for the first time, this is Talk Tuesdays on the Experience Point. We talk about things that we have experienced in the past week. And I've experienced...
commercial just hit, just so you know.
Oh, no.
I don't know if it's hitting for Parallax. So he's a subscriber.
Oh, that's
so
true.
He might not be.
Yeah, no, he's...
Anyway, continue, though.
He gives me money. Thank you for that, Parallax. So, I've experienced addiction. Emphasis on the dick.
On dick?
Yup. And I realize
we are in sync.
Yup. And it's only going to get worse because I realize that the probably treasure trove of gifts that could be made while I'm eating this. I'm pulling it out. I'm whipping it out right now. Oh my god, it's already so flaccid. Look at this fucking thing.
Oh, perfect time. The commercial just ended.
Okay,
I
good.
See a flaccid red tip.
It's oh my god. Look at the way it bounces and wiggles. You may have
Can you
thought...
just tell me what it is before I get unnerved?
No, I have to make it unnerving first. Look at the floppy, flaccid thing I'm about to put in my mouth. So I'm actually glad it melted a little bit because normally it's not so flaccid. Normally it's nice and long and hard. It may look like a popsicle, when in fact it kind of is, but it also kind of isn't. This thing has fucking dead or alive jiggle physics. I almost said jizz. This is the most...
Man, where's Gilmer?
Right, I know. This is a popsicle. However, it's a trolley, like trolley bright crawlers, like trolley They make these things now. It's basically just frozen gummy pops. And I thought, so we had some friends over and ugh. And I was like, and they brought these trolley pops, and I was like, I feel like she was like, oh yeah, it's basically like a trolley bright crawler, but it's like frozen. And I, in my brain, as somebody where the kind of my certain flavor of neurodivergent is textures are very weird to me. Sensory things can make me like have a panic attack. I was like, I will hate that. And I had one, and it's amazing. This flaccid... I'm just watching how it's moving so much.
This flaccid swanger.
This long hanging thing that I'm about to put in my mouth. I realized there's screenshots are going to abound. I'm just teasing it. I'm just teasing the tip with my tongue right now. Anyway,
as you do.
These fucking things are so good. We got 2 boxes of them yesterday. They're almost gone already.
Jesus
we
Christ.
We can't stop eating them. And they're like double flavors. Like this is a cherry and a lemon one. The other one's grape and
nice.
Something else. I'm trying not to do the like ASMR mouth thing with the mic, but
You're doing pretty good so far, at least from my listening ears.
I appreciate it. Do you eat
Do
those
you eat
things
those
the long
things
way?
the long
Yeah,
way?
I know. I know. I hold it. No, I eat it like corn.
Or
I just go
corn on the cob. Just
just
gnawing on that trolley cock.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that is the still frame for YouTube. Just me going
I like that.
with you.
I'll remember that. Yeah, like corn. I mean, you
That's
kind of
funny.
can if you want to get the other, like the back flavor, the back end flavor. If you want to hit it from the back, you can eat it the long way. Anyway, that's really all that there is to it. This thing is delicious and very phallic, and I have no qualms about putting it in my mouth and taking it all the way down.
As you do. It's funny. So the way when I was reading Parallax's thing, comment says, "Do you eat those things the long way?" I originally read it the wrong way, and
Which is stick first.
yeah, right. It reminded me. So I was watching some Make Some Noise on Dropout on lunch today, and Ben Schwartz was on it. You know, Sonic the Hedgehog
I
himself. Sonic
adore
the
him.
Hedgehog. I love Ben Schwartz. So he was doing an improv scene with a guy named Ryan Gall on the episode, because the way the episode works, it's very much like Who's Line, where they give them comedic prompts and they have to act it out type of
Okay.
thing. And in the second round of the game, where they also award points, but they
God damn
don't,
it.
it's all like arbitrary. So they then in the second round you do it in pairs of two. So two of the three improvisers will come together and do a scene. And one of them, the scene was two dads trying to out proud each other. And so, like the Ryan Gall was like, "Yeah, that's my kid up there. They're graduating valedictorian." And Ben goes like, "That kid? The kid who's eating the donut the wrong way? Whole first?"
I love that.
I'm like, who eating a donut the wrong
The
way?
wrong
I'm
way.
thinking like, what does that mean?
How do you do this?
Well, they even joked about it afterwards, where Sam, the host, Sam Reich, goes,
Yeah.
"I love how you said that, and then you had to figure out a way how to dig yourself out of that hole, because you had." He's like, "Yeah, I said it, and I had to figure out how that actually worked on the fly. Like, how do you eat a donut the wrong way?"
Right, hole
and then that's when he
first.
came up with a hole first, where you just kind of go into the center, like, oh.
I hate that. I love Ben Schwartz. I forget. I've probably asked you before. Have you watched the Middleditch and Schwartz?
Oh yes, oh yes.
God, I love that with all my heart.
Middleditch and Schwartz is fantastic. Ben Schwartz is really I love Ben Schwartz. I'm hoping he does more Make Some Noise, because he was so fun on the
Yeah.
episode. He only did one episode. They also had in the season 2, they had Wayne Brady on.
Oh my God, what a get!
Yeah,
That's the
and-
improv guy. He's
Right?
He's it. you can't get like better
Well,
or more
so
prominent than him.
In one of the games they do is that they have, I don't know if they've done it in Game Changer. I think they also did it a few times in Make Some Noise. They have like a musical episode where people improv songs, and they're actually pretty good. But the thing is like they call it like, it's like karaoke, but since they can't get the licensing rights to any of the songs, they basically make up fictional songs, like titles of fictional songs,
Okay.
by real artists. So you would get like Bruce Springsteen, and then they would make up a song that Bruce Springsteen never actually wrote.
Like they did on
And-
Who's Line?
Yes, but and then they have to they have to improvise the song. So it's fun like that. And then they do it in like groups of 2s and 3s, and it's pretty entertaining.
I like that.
Anyway, so that's neither here nor there. I have a couple things to share to start off.
Okay.
One, I'm going to start with minor, going up to more interesting. I've been setting up the game room again, which I have like my NES games within reach right now. It's weird.
You're setting up what
Like-
room?
The game room.
Sorry, what was that?
I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm not giving you that
You have
satisfaction.
no choice.
But I'm setting up the game room, and I here we go. Dragon Warrior for the NES.
Oh my God, with the westernified artwork.
Even though it's just Dragon Quest.
It's just
but
Dragon
In any
Quest.
case.
What a travesty.
So I'm cleaning out. I'm like setting stuff up again, and look here what I found. Blast from both of our collective pasts.
Uh-oh. Oh my god.
The Akatsuki ring.
Yo. Okay, so for those who don't know, which is everyone, we were going to do, and this was what, circa 2011?
There we go. Got my wedding ring and my Akatsuki ring.
Nice. Now, is it on the correct finger?
I don't know what finger it's supposed to be on.
I don't either. Circa 2000, maybe 10, 11, we had planned a full 10-person Akatsuki cosplay for whatever that year's Otakon was. And it fell through. There was drama. There was breakups. There was
Drama.
flaky people. And it all fell through. And it ended up, I think just me and Dave went. So there were two of us. I was Kisame, shark guy, because of course. And Josh here was going to be Datara. You were going to have tongues on your hands. And I got everybody the rings. And I had little figures too of every character that I was going to give to everybody. Now I'm saying
I have the ring.
That's
still,
cool.
So you put a ring on it, and it's still here. Baby.
I sure did. So Courtney needs to step off my man, is what I'm hearing. I put a ring on it first.
So yeah, that's the first thing. The second thing, we had a little like play date with one of my daughter's friends. I caught myself that time.
Uh-huh.
One of my daughter's friends. And
you almost said son.
Yeah.
I forget what it is. Girl or boy, I don't know.
Non-binary,
yeah.
Whatever. But no, there was an arts festival, like a local art, like arts and crafts. That sounds very kind of not derogatory, but diminishing of what it actually was.
Yeah,
it was like they took off sectioned off a huge portion of the downtown area of the town I live in, and there was like authors, there was like jewelry vendors, like all like local craftsmen bringing their stuff.
Nice.
They had food trucks, they had you could just walk around on the street. It was amazing.
I love stuff like that.
It was a really great time. I had no idea what was happening. The aunt of my daughter's friend was the one that said, "Hey, we should all go to this." And we're like, really? And it was 2 minutes down the road from our house.
That's
it was
awesome.
crazy. And I found a local author, and I bought their book.
Oh, cool! Oh, I like that cover.
Right? I have no idea what Zauberer is, but it's about. She described it was, what was it? Hold on. Does it have like a description? I can read the description on the back, but hold on. Here we go. Zauberer is a story of a woman of science thrown into a community of magic in the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia. So, yeah, so I'm curious about it. I'm excited to give it a shot at some point.
Yeah.
Once I finish the other books that I'm currently reading.
Right. Look at you supporting local artisans too. I like that.
I literally bought it because I was talking to her. She seemed really nice. I'm like, fuck it. I'll buy a book. It was like $20. Why not?
Yeah.
Next thing, because a lot of this stuff that I'm sharing is just brought to you by your local game room cleanup and just just trying to figure. So, actually, let me do this. So what I have right here, I'm gonna have to. There we go. Now I can actually see what I'm doing. I was looking at myself in like the stream, and there's always a delay there. So, what I have right here,
I know what that is
a music box.
Yeah. From Square Enix.
From Square Enix.
Yeah.
For Final Fantasy VII.
Oh, nice. Is it just like the overture, like the Ooh. Yeah, see if this. I'm not hearing anything.
I wonder if Discord is like just blocking it out then.
Maybe.
So the Discord does do that if like the sound, it has like a noise gate.
I heard it.
Maybe if I talk like this, you can hear it at the same time. I don't know.
Yeah.
That works.
Yeah, it does. That's so funny.
All right, I'm going to put this away because it's just going to keep playing for a little bit in its box.
And we're demonetized and removed from Twitch.
Yeah, right.
That's so cool. I love their music boxes. I got 2 for from Nier, for one for Polisa and one for myself from for our anniversary last year, which involved us going to the Nier concert, the orchestra concert. Oh God, those music are incredible. I saw one that they had the Tifa's theme, I think, from
Oh, cool.
Final Fantasy, which I gotta get because that's my girl.
Tifa is my. So the last thing that I have, I was teasing it like I want to open this on stream.
Oh.
Because this is popular with the kids nowadays, right? This is popular.
Are you gonna
I have
open
a
a Pokemon
Pokemon
card?
card.
Yes! Oh my God!
I bought this like at least a year and a half ago on a whim,
Oh,
and
wow.
I have not opened it. I don't know why. Now, I have not paid attention to the world of Pokemon in quite some time.
Yeah.
So there's a whole thing on the back here. Surpass the point of no return. As the boundary between dimensions tears apart, Giratina V-Star plunges the world into the abyssal shadow of the lost zone. While Aerodactyl V-Star harnesses this distorted power, Magnezone, Drapion, Hisuian, Gudra, and Hisuian Zoroark also appears as Pokemon V-Star to show off their astonishing skills, joined by Kyurem VMAX above. This is all fucking bullshit. Like, what does this mean?
I was gonna say, for somebody who's been out of Pokemon as long as you have, you got like 90% of those.
Above the shadows, Enamorous V and Radiant Gardevoir conjure up dazzling magic in the Sword and Shield Lost Origin expansion.
Oh, okay, so it came out with Sword and Shield. Yeah, that was like 20.
Yeah, it's Sword and Shield Lost Origin.
20?
That is some dumb sci-fi bullshit that I don't want in my Pokemon. All right, that is stupid, unnecessary.
Yeah, that was
Add
a bit
new
much.
Pokemon, fine, but when you start naming things like when there's Aerodactyl V-Star, V-Star.
So the V-Star and like the EX, yeah, V-Stars. the like the EX, that's just for the cards. That's just telling you it's a specific type of card. Like the EX cards are stronger, but when you knock them out, they count as two victory points or whatever. So the name of the Pokemon isn't Aerodactyl V-Star. It's just telling you that the name of the card.
It's a V-Star branded Aerodactyl.
Yeah. Or like it's like mega, like there's mega evolution in the game. It's just like, Mega Charizard. Like it's not a new Pokemon. It's just kind of a qualifier. It's just telling you that the card is this kind of card. Oh, do you know about the like?
I should have opened it on camera. I'm a fucking idiot. Hold on, let me redo this.
Yeah. And I think you're supposed to, I forget. There's a way to like max hype open Pokemon cards where you like put like the two, I don't remember. I don't watch enough of this content. Ooh, yeah, take it out nice and slow.
There we go, nice and slow, baby. So I'll go from the back because I have no idea. I'll go from like what I can see.
Okay.
We have Love Disc,
Okay. Love it.
Phalanx,
Oh, Phalanx. That one's cool.
Phalanx. Oh shit, I know this one. Poliwag, baby.
Nice. OG.
Gilgar.
What? Oh, Gligar. Yeah.
Oh, Gligar. Sorry, I transposed the L and I. Goomy.
Oh, Gumi's cute.
Oh, I found my holographic, my rare one.
Nice. Save that one for last then.
All right. Oh wow, there's two shiny ones here.
Ooh.
We'll save both of them for last. Leaf Energy.
What?
Grass. Hariyama.
Okay. The sumo fighting type.
Arc Phone.
What?
I don't know.
Oh,
This
it's
is Arc Phone.
an item.
Yeah, it's an item card.
Okay.
Look at the top card of your deck. You may switch that card with one of your face down prize cards.
Okay.
And then Metacham.
Nice.
Now, so the two holographics, which is rarer, where the background is kind of got like like a sheen to it, like you have the box where like,
Yeah.
so I have one card where all of this, the border and everything else is all shiny and hologrammy.
Okay.
Then I have one where just the backdrop of the character box is, which is more hype.
I guess I'm gonna assume it's the full one. But if you look at the bottom left, I don't know if it'll mean anything to you, but there should be like little symbols indicating the rarity.
So the one that's all full shiny is a diamond, which usually means it's more common. I remember stars are the more rare.
Yeah. So is the star the full hollow?
Star is just the box.
Oh, then I don't know.
Interesting. So
I think star is more rare though.
I hate this one. It's Licky Licky.
Oh, Licky Licky. Okay.
Unnecessary.
Which is what I did to your mom.
And finally, it's a trainer card.
Okay.
Volo.
Oh, okay.
Look at that.
Interesting. I think he's a
no idea if any of those are worth anything.
Who knows? You would be surprised. I mean, once it's my turn, it's very interesting that you bring this up because I actually have a somewhat related story that I could tell at the end of one of the things I was going to share.
Oh, cool. I think that's all I had anyway. Yeah, there's like, I mean, yeah, there's a couple commons. There's a couple. That's interesting that the Licky Licky is like full shiny. I guess, does that mean it's a shiny? Like a shiny Pokemon?
No, it just means like the holographic is just like it's pretty rare. If it was like a full, like they do some cards where it's like full art, the art is the whole card, then that's like the more rare ones. But
okay,
you'd honestly be surprised at what is worth things nowadays. Like, I'm so far out of the world of Pokemon cards. Like, I play the app on my phone pretty religiously, and I really like it.
It has one of those. It has a coupon thing.
Oh, cool.
If you play it, I can send it to you because I'm not going to fucking use it.
I think that's for the old one. If this is a few years old, that's probably for
2022.
Yeah, it's probably for the old app. The new one is
Trading Card Game Live.
Yeah. The new one's Trading Card Game Pocket.
Boo! It's useless now. Useless.
Yeah. Boo! You stink.
That was a good Adam Sandler impression.
Oh, thanks. That was definitely what I was going for.
What were you going to say about Pokemon? How did that tie into it?
So, I guess I'll stick with this part first because it's more related, but then I'll tell you the whole story of this person. I met somebody recently who was just telling me today that he bought, I guess there's like a new set of Pokemon cards that people are like killing each other over, and scalpers are like going nuts over, like, to try to get their hands on them and then put them online. Yeah, people are like camping out at freaking Walmart and comic book shops and stuff. But yeah, somebody that he was telling me like, yeah, I'm not really into like Pokemon like the cards anymore because a couple years ago his apartment burned down and he like lost everything. He was really into like Magic the Gathering and stuff. Christ. Yeah, I was like, holy shit, dude. And he's like, after that I couldn't start collecting cards anymore because like you know, I wouldn't either after that.
No, I wouldn't at all.
But he's like, yeah, you know, I got caught up in the hype. I bought this pack, opened it, and then got one of the rarest, maybe I think he said the rarest card of that set, and you know, wrapped it up, put it on eBay, and sold immediately for $850.
Christ!
Yeah, I was like, holy shit. He's like, yeah, I mean, the card was really cool. It's like a Mewtwo, like a Team Rocket Mewtwo or something, full art card with like Giovanni and Mewtwo posing, and he's like, it was really cool. But $850 is cooler. And I was like, yeah.
Dude, maybe you know what? Maybe if I fucking find I'm gonna look this up. How do I feel? How do I look this shit up?
I don't know. There is a website. Oh, I've forgotten it already, but there's one that people use. I'm sure if you Google like Pokemon card values, you'll find the main one. But it's all
There's
depends.
Pokemon guide prices. Oh, there is also a price charting for Pokemon card. I use price charting for video games.
Oh. Yeah, it's all about the biggest factor is condition. So, don't scuff them up or anything, and check like the printing. Like if you look on the back of the card and the border is like shifted weird, or like the centering of the card and the printing is important. Like they look at everything. It's wild.
That's fucking crazy, man.
Yeah. So this person who I just met, I kind of had like a really a really weird way that we met. This would totally be like our origin story. Like if I was gay, this would be like our first like way that we start falling in love.
Oh man, it's only worth $1.70.
Oh, lame.
Ungraded $1.50, graded at like the highest grade is $35.
It's not nothing, but probably not worth
it. Not worth spending money on that.
And it'll cost
wild.
you like $15 a card to get them graded anyway, so maybe even more. Anyway,
who knows, maybe this one might be. I'll check Licky Licky. Maybe that's worth more. Just because it's a star on it doesn't mean shit. That's what I say.
That's what I say.
Sorry, continue.
So I was laughing as I was saying, like, this is our origin story of how we fall in love, because if I was gay, because I just told him tonight about my my stream. I don't think I told him the name, so hopefully he's not watching. I said I would send it to him, and I'm glad that I didn't. But this is really wholesome. So do you still rollerblade at all?
Oh yeah.
Nice. You must not have gotten bullied out of it as a kid than I did then.
I played hockey, dude.
Oh, that's true. Okay, so you had that going for you. I just liked to rollerblade, and I got made fun of a lot for it as a kid because
that's
toxic
stupid.
masculinity.
Rollerblading is cool,
right? And I assimilated for my own safety and got into skateboarding, and like that was cool. And I don't regret getting into skateboarding, but I regret doing it because I got bullied too much for rollerblading. Mm-hmm. And so in like, I don't know, maybe I know exactly when it was. It was 2021. I got a new pair of rollerblades, and I was like, I'm going to get back into it, because it kind of had hit like a boom after COVID, because a lot of people were like, I'm so sick of being inside. So a lot more people got into like, a lot of outdoor stuff, hiking and biking and skateboarding and rollerblading too. And I was like, oh, cool. But, I should get back into it and not be afraid about people's perceptions of me, which is like story of my life. I really need to work on that, especially around this, because it's like I was heavily tormented as a kid for this. And so whenever I see somebody who's rollerblading now, like, if it's a kid, I'm usually like, oh yeah, hey man, cool, love your skates, like to encourage them. And, if I see an adult who's rollerblading, I'll try to like talk to them and be like, like, how long have you been skating? What are you riding? Da, 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 da. And so I was coming home from work the other day, and so I was borrowing a friend's car for a while. So I was in a car. I was in a full suit, mind you.
Wait, is this a friend I know?
No.
Okay, you said you were buying. You said I was borrowing your friend's car. I'm like, my friend.
Oh no, a friend. One of my friends' cars. Yeah, I was borrowing Justin's car. No, I say that like he's not also my friend. So my job does like quote unquote spirit days, where it's like, if you don't want to have to wear a dress shirt for a day, you can wear something that's like today, my Wu-Tang shirt, I'm wearing it because it was like black and yellow day for a certain kind of breast cancer, or not breast cancer, a certain type of cancer. So
cancer, as we heard George Wendt say,
right?
Rest in peace.
R.I.P. I didn't know who that was until you said his name off mic.
Norm.
Earlier. Yeah. So I have like a kind of like a maroon, like a plum colored suit, and it was like burgundy, Ron Burgundy, and for that day it was like that was for I think I don't know, head and neck cancer or something. It doesn't matter which one, but so that's the only thing I have of that color. And I was like, you know what? I'll dress up a little bit. I wore my suit, and so I'm driving home from work, and I see this guy rollerblading, and he goes like in front of me. It was a 4-way stop. He goes like in front of me, and then he stops, and he's kind of like, got his hands on his knees, and he's like, whew, like trying to catch his breath. And I was like, oh man, I should stop and say something to him. And then, or no, he went to the other side of my car, so I couldn't just roll my window down. And I was like, no, I don't want to look like a weirdo, and just like pull over and just talk to a rando. And then I was like, you know what? Something told me to like actually talk to him. And I was like, oh, God damn it. And he was sitting there like in the thing for a while. And I was like, okay. So this was all in the period of me stopping at a stop sign. So then I start to pull off, and then I'm like, you know what? No. Fine. And I pull over and get out. And I'm like, hey, man, I just want to. And he was really close to my house. Like that was the main reason why. I was like, yo, like, like I caught his attention, and he skated over. And I was like, hey, sorry, this sounds like super random. But like, do you like rollerblade around here a lot? And he was like, yeah, I try to, every other day or so, and on weekends. And I was like, oh, sick. Like I actually live like right around the corner. I've been trying to get back into rollerblading. And at this point I was like, I told him like what I was skating on. I was like, I got the Aeon 80 millimeters to like drive it home that like I'm not just a creeper trying to use this as a way to either, I don't know, scam him or something. And he was like, oh, cool, yeah, like I'm trying to get back into it too. Like I was like, yeah, it was tough. Like I got like bullied out of it as a kid. And he was like, oh my God, me too. So he's like, I don't have anybody to skate with. And I was like, well, I mean, if you want to meet up sometime, like we can skate around together. And he was like, yeah, that'd be cool. So we like exchanged numbers, and I was like, all right. So he's like, that's why I'm saying like this is our meet cute basically. And he was like, well, I'm like going away for a while. I'm going away for a while. He went to prison. No, he's like, I'm traveling, but I'll be back in like early May. I was like, okay, cool. In my head, I'm like, this is his out. He's, just trying to be polite. Like, oh, I'm traveling for a while, so I probably won't be. And I'm like, that's fine, whatever. I didn't think I'd ever hear from this guy again. And I realized more and more how weird it was. I was like, oh my God, I just stopped on the side of the road, just basically ran out in a full suit, like, hey, man. And it's like how little kids make friends. And like last week, he like reached out to me and was like, hey, man, like, you up for like skating, sometime soon? And I was like, oh, cool. He's like, yeah, I'm back in the States. And I was like, oh, you like traveled. I thought you were just going out of state or whatever. Guess where he went?
Where did he go?
Japan. I was like,
so he's into the same shit we are.
Oh yes. So I was like, you gotta be shitting me right now. So he's like, yes. I was like, so you gotta be into one or two or both of these things. I was like, are you into anime? Are you a gamer? He's like, yeah, both. We have a lot of the same interests in terms of nerdy stuff too. And I was like, what the hell is like, this is so cool. And he's trying to move there as well. Like he's also trying to move to Japan.
That's so.
I was like, what is going on? Like, are you me? It was so funny and just so, I don't know, it was kind of serendipitous. And so last week we skated like last Saturday, and then today he was like, hey, I'm gonna skate tonight if you're free. And I like just got back like in time for us to like to stream, so I feel like a disgusting ball of sweat right now. So you literally just became best friends. I know, that's how it felt. And we were talking about games that we're into, and he had I think overall he's more into the stuff that you are. Like he's really into like tactics based games and like JRPGs and things like that. Although
because he's got good taste.
Well, he's also into some of the same obscure fighting games as me. So we're talking
questionable taste.
Yeah, right. Anyway, goodbye. You are banished. But it was just wild. I was like, what? Like, this is insane. And most of all, like, I came home and I was like, I don't know how this guy's gonna be. I don't know, like, if he thinks I'm gonna be weird. I don't know if he's gonna be weird. Like, I know so many just like weird people, and like, I was just telling Polisa, like, I want more friends that I can just have normal conversations with. Like, so many times I'll go out and hang out with some friends, and everybody's on their phone, or like,
I don't get that, man. Like,
Same.
I like, listen, I understand playing on your phone, but like, if you're hanging out with people, the point of being together, like, if you're living together, that's different. Like, because then, you can't expect someone to have like, have attention, your undivided attention the whole time. But
Yeah.
like,
Unless you
I
have
don't know.
specifically set aside, like, this is like a date, or like, this is a thing that we are intentionally going to do together where we have each other's full attention. If you're just sitting around the house doing nothing, like, sure, you can both be on your phone. But if we're like, hey, let's all go hang out, and you're all sitting there at the table while we're eating just on your phone, I'm like, so what about what? That shirt is the shit. What's up,
Hey,
Drew?
what's up, Drew?
Thanks, man. Oh my god, yeah, Drew Tang Clan. Thanks, man, and welcome in. But yeah, so I was just saying, like, I feel like most of my very few remaining friends after the divorce, because like, that's all that shit gets so messy when you have friend groups and stuff, and it's like, I feel like most of them are just like, I don't know, I not to get like depressing, but it's like, I just want people to give back the same level of energy that like I put into friendships, and it's just frustrating to not feel like anybody gives a shit about you.
I mean, you can't expect everyone to do the same level, but at the very least, they have to put some effort into it. You know what I mean?
That's a fair.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that. Like, that's frustrating. And we have mutual friends that I wish would do the same.
Yep.
I won't name names.
You don't have to.
I think you know who I'm talking about too.
Yep. There's a main one, and there's a couple of other ones. There's a big one though.
But
yeah.
But I'm with you on that. It's frustrating.
Yeah. And so we got to like talking and stuff, and I got home and Police was like, so how was it? And I was like, oh my god, he's so normal. I was like, we had an engaging conversation where he asked follow-up questions afterwards. Like, it feels so like such a low bar to be like, I like when people have follow-up questions or are engaging and like seem like they care about what you're saying. Like, it's such a low bar, but it was really cool. Anyway,
so sorry, this is super random. I was playing with the ring, right? And I was like spinning it around in my hands, and I looked at myself in the video, and it just looks like I'm jerking off.
I noticed it, and I wasn't gonna say anything. It did. He just his hands like slightly out of frame, just like
you just see my shoulder going. Hey guys,
it's like he really likes this story.
I love friendship.
Oh god, I just love it so much. God, that's the second. Now I just did it like to do an example, and now I just put a phallic object in my mouth and I'm jerking it.
We're having a time.
We're gonna summon Gilmer.
This is how you summon a Gilmer. It's just you put a bunch of like phalluses in a circle.
A phalli.
A phalli.
Peni.
Multiple phalluses.
God.
Oh my god.
Anyway, so yeah, that all ties into
clip that.
Clip that.
Oh my god.
Clip it and ship it.
No, but that's really cool though that you in a more serious and non-sensual sexual tone. But that's cool that you made a new friend. Like that's awesome. It's hard to do.
I was just gonna say it's really hard to do it as an adult. Like, and especially one that's not like a, like you go to school, you go to work, like you see people that you kind of make friends with in those spaces because you're there and you see each other every day. It's hard to do that organically, I guess, because how many times have you left a job and been like, oh my God, I'm really going to miss this person, like my work bestie, and then you never speak to them again because you weren't actually that close.
There's only one job that I still talk to people that I no longer work at.
Yeah. So
consistently talk to people, I should say.
It was cool to just, have that, just like a genuine connection. Like, and especially like, I don't want to go down the rabbit hole because we always do, but like as guys, it's so hard to find somebody who's not like completely withdrawn or like, okay, yeah, whatever, not. It's frustrating to like make friends as guys because most of the guys I know, I get along better with women than I do guys because most of the time guys that I talk to are just like, well, whatever, sports.
I actually I'm kind of with you on that. And like, listen, I like sports just as much as the next guy, but
it's not your whole personality.
No, I mean, video games are my whole personality. Yeah. But the thing is, like, I don't know. I'm with you though. I find it easier to speak to women because they try to relate to you on. Like, they actually try to relate to you as opposed to just, like, I don't know, put up. I never considered it as toxic masculinity, but I think you're kind of right. Because I always interpret it as, like, I just have an easier time talking to women.
Yeah, I just in the ways of...
It's always been that way.
Like, men are kind of taught incorrectly to be withdrawn and to not show emotion because that's weakness, I guess.
I don't know.
It's gay to like connect with another man,
Well, no, because unless it's in the guise of war,
right?
then it's manly and heroic and my brother in arms. If there's violence involved, it's forgivable,
right? Yeah, the only emotion you can feel as a man is either anger or lust, No,
I have seen at least like with, I don't know. I always felt like I had like such a weird line, like, or I never felt the effects of toxic masculinity in my life. Like I know it's there, like I know there's elements of it because you can't ever escape it.
Mm-hmm.
But like I would say really the biggest elements are just like, like I don't feel comfortable necessarily telling other guys that I love them, like platonically,
right?
Like that's an effect of it. Like you have started doing that with me, and I've gotten more comfortable with the idea of that. But it's still like that. So that there is that element. But in terms of like talking about my feelings and stuff like that, no one ever made fun of me for it. No one ever really. I think I grew up in a really bizarrely not sheltered but privileged life, but not privileged in the sense of like, oh, I was well off, or oh, I was in like this and that compared to other. I think I just got lucky. Like I genuinely think I just got lucky in some aspects because like all the like you always hear stories about high school drama and college drama. Never dealt with that. Never really had to deal with that. Never. The only time I ever had someone kind of stab me in the back was my ex-girlfriend. And even then we had broken up, and I came to realize afterwards that she probably was cheating on me. Ooh. And that's why we broke up. Like she broke up with me because she felt guilty because she ended up with the guy that she was spending a lot of time with shortly after we broke up.
That hurts.
Honestly, it didn't. And that's kind of like it was Bryn. You remember Bryn?
Oh yeah, I didn't think you were gonna name drop her.
That's fine. I'm not gonna list their last name, but that was more just like that. I realize it now as an adult, as I've gotten older. Like that was just infatuation. That wasn't love. Like I was just infatuated with her. But you're young and not understanding what the fuck's going on. I was
gonna say we were like what 22,
21.
Yeah.
21, 22. So yeah, you're still learning. You're still figuring shit out. It's whatever.
That's
so
how these things go.
It honestly,
it's an
it never
important
really
experience
bothered
to
me.
have.
I've always wanted to ask her, but I'm also not gonna like bring it up out of the blue. Like, hey man, remember a decade ago when we dated? Did you cheat on me? Like, that's fucking weird.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. But like, that's the only, I genuinely think if there was people like dicking me over or like like stabbing me in the back, I went right over my head.
Yeah.
I never noticed it. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I'm not complaining about that. It's just I watched all that shit happen to people I knew, and I never really like truly experienced it. The only time I think I ever had to deal with like this isn't even someone dicking me over. There was a school project that I did jack shit for on the day of that we had to present the project. They're like, Josh, you're doing it. I'm like, what? I don't know any of this. They're like, yeah, well, you didn't do anything, so you have to present it. I'm like, I will never forget the guy when I was in the wrong. I'm not denying this, but I still get mad when the guy was like, there's a guy, his name was DJ, and he just kept saying, quit your bitching, quit, and he just kept repeating it over and over and over, like just not letting me have a word in edgewise. And I still get mad thinking about that. Like,
Yeah.
but I was in the wrong. I didn't do fuck all in that project. Like, so it is what it is. I'm annoyed that I still get mad at it, which then makes me more mad.
Right. Oh, I hate that. You go down the spiral. When you
he was being an asshole, but I also didn't do anything. So it's like, yeah, tomato. Anyway, I'm losing the thread.
It's all right. When you were saying, I don't think I'll ever have another chance on this show anyway to tell this story. But this relates enough. When you said about like bringing that up to her, like, hey, did you cheat? Do you remember like back? Did you cheat on me? I had something similar happen when I won't say names. When I was like, I think I was honestly was like 14 or 15. I think I was 15. She was 14. I had a little crush on this girl, and like we would kind of like be flirty and jokey, like jokingly being like acting like a couple, but we weren't. And she asked me to do this, like, did your church ever do lock-ins?
Yes.
Yeah. So she invited me to like her church's lock-in, and I was like, that sounds inherently sexual because I didn't know what that was. And she was like, no. We just like, they just take the adults just take a bunch of kids and literally lock them in the church late at night. And I was like, what could possibly go wrong?
Those are awesome, man. I love
it. Was awesome. We did laser tag. We went to laser tag.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. And that reminded me, I had the high score at, I won't say where, but a local laser tag place for like ages afterwards, because when we did this laser tag, it was one where you got like the like power-ups. Do you ever do a laser tag where you get power-ups where you can like get rapid fire or you get like a shield?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so this was one where like there was objectives. So there was teams, obviously, and then it was like if you got to the enemy's base, inside you're super vulnerable, but there's like a target above you, and if you shoot the target, you get like, I don't know, 100 points or something. So the power up like transferred around the team like at regular intervals. So I kind of waited around the base, and I waited until I got the rapid fire power up because it would tell you. And I ran into the base and just held my gun up into the air, shooting the base with the rapid fire power up. And it was just like my points on my thing were just like just going up like crazy. And I was like, I ended with like 50,000 points, and the next person below me had like 2,000. It was so funny. But so I had the high score there for like forever after that. I would always go back there because it was in like a mega kind of center. There was other things there. So I would go there and I would still see it like up on the leaderboards. Anyway, so
that's funny.
We do the laser tag, then we go to the church, and it's like everyone's playing ping pong and watching PG-13 movies and having snacks. And it's in a church late at night.
Wait, actually having sex?
No, what? No. Oh, hang on. I've heard of these before. The lock-in. As an atheist and an outsider looking in, as an adult not knowing what I know about some leadership in churches, this shit sounds like a big ass nope. You are not wrong, sir.
I think you'd have to know the organization, whether it's a church or otherwise.
Yeah.
But like,
it was fun.
Like, at least in my area, nothing bad ever happened at them, and there was always supervision. It was multiple adults. It wasn't just like you and like a pastor,
right?
You know what I mean? Like, there was there were parents. Usually, the supervisors were parents of some of the kids too.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
So we were like, we were locked into this church like late at night. It was like midnight at this point, and we're like, we're bored, and so like we're like walking around, and she's like, oh, I'll like take you to where the school part is, because I think she went to school there. I don't remember.
I could totally see that. So my neighbors went to their church, also doubled as their school.
Yeah, when I got sent to the Christian school for a couple of years, it was the same thing. It was like built into the church. Mm-hmm. So anyway, she's like leading me around this place in the complete dark, unsupervised, and we're like in the classrooms, like, you know, like, ooh, hugging and kissing and stuff. Then we go into the chapel. Oh my God, I'm about to be smoked right now. We go into the chapel, and we're like sitting in a pew by ourselves, and she like gives me a lap dance. And
what?
Yeah, in the pew, like full view of the crucifix.
You like this, Jesus?
Yeah, it's like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. I was like, don't look at it. Just don't look at it.
Don't look at it. Don't touch it. Just look away.
Keaton's like, what did I walk in on? That's what the priests almost said. So nothing, like, you know, we didn't do anything else. I mean, there was touching, but we were teenagers, so it wasn't like, you know. So then this girl moves to a state far away. I don't know why I'm trying to protect this random person. She moves way, way, way up north, as far as you can go. And she's like, yeah, I'll probably never see you again. And I was like, oh, okay. So after all that, and she was like, oh, like, I want to be your girlfriend. And I was like, cool, I also want this. And then she's like, oh wait, but I'm moving to Maine. As an atheist, fucking badass. I know, looking back, I was so guilty in the moment, but looking back, I was like, that was fucking awesome.
Metal, man.
Hell yeah. And then I jizzed into the holy water. Oh my God. Anyway, there was no jizzing.
In a Protestant church, there was holy water.
Yeah, right. So she moves away. This, again, we're like 14, 15. I thought I would never see her again. Fast forward to I had just broken up with you know her, and who cares if I protect her, Kristen. So we were what, 20, I think I was like 23.
So that's like almost a decade later.
Yeah. So I had just broken up with Kristen. I went to an eye doctor. Lo and behold, the girl at the desk was church girl.
Wow.
And I was like, whoa. And we had been friends for like years before that. So I didn't immediately go like, oh my God, yeah, that's the girl that, you know. And
gave me a lap dance in church.
Right. And so so I was like, oh my God, hey, what? I thought you like moved away. She's like, yeah, I did. I just moved back and I just got a job here and whatever. And I was like, oh my God, that's so cool. She was like, we should catch up sometime. And I was like, yeah, totally. Like, give me your number and whatever. So we're texting for a little bit. And then she's like, do you want to like hang out? Like, go get something to eat, go for a walk. And I was like, sure. And so we do. And there's like a little bit of like tension, but she's like, we both are in different places. And I didn't think nothing would have ever come from this. But yeah, we go out to eat and then we go on this walk. And this is, like at least 10 years later. And we're not even, you know, talking about a lot of stuff from when we were kids. We were just kind of, where are we now? And we're walking and she's like, and we come up to like, kind of like this clearing in like the woods. And it was like very serene and like the birds were chirping. And I was like, I was feeling like a little bit like of a crush, and I was like, oh my god, like I remember this girl, like this is wild. And it was so nice and peaceful, and I was like, wow. And she goes, hey, do you remember that time I gave you a lap dance in the church? I was like, oh, okay, we're gonna talk about it. She was like, yeah, that was wild. Anyway.
Did she ever? She's like, do you want another one?
We never. No. Nothing happened. We never spoke of it again. And like, I think we texted a little bit after that, but nothing ever came from that. It was just so funny. It was such a weird memory. And then the fact that she just brought it up out of nowhere again. I was like, oh my god. I told Polisa this like somewhat recently, and she was like, you dirty little teenagers, you're defiling the Lord's place. Oh my god,
I've never had anything like that happen in like church to me.
Yeah.
The closest thing that I remember, it was in college, and there was this girl, I think her name was Allison, but I don't remember for certain. She, you know how like when you're in your late teens, early 20s, and you're desperate, like hopelessly single, and you're just desperate for anything, right? Yeah. So I never hooked up with this girl, just to be clear. The story I'm about to tell never actually like went anywhere. Never even kissed her. Just throw that out there. The reason I say that is because it sounds like it's going to go somewhere.
Okay.
It doesn't go. It doesn't go to any of those places, and thank God. So I get a message on Facebook from this girl, and don't know who she is, but I look at her profile, see that she's local. Mm-hmm. I'm like, oh, this is weird. And I forget exactly what she was asking about, but basically she was looking for someone named Josh and just messaged every dude in the area named Josh to try to find this guy. That should have been my first red flag. But 20, hopelessly single, desperately desperate.
Yeah, you're like, desperate. She's the one.
No, I was never like that, thank God. But I remember that, and so we were talking a little bit, and nothing really there. But once again, 20, still hormones raging for me, barely out of being teenagers. Hormones are still going fucking nuts. So we agreed to meet up at like a bowling alley for like a group hangout, right? Mm-hmm. Like some friends, we're gonna go bowling at like midnight bowling or some shit like that. And I remember going to pick her up. I had to pick her up, but I asked my friend Jordan, hey Jordan, would you mind riding with me? Because I don't know who, I've never met this person, and if it's not who they say they are, I want someone there to back me up. With that said, she was who she said she is, and now with hindsight, I'm like, that must have been fucking terrifying for her to get into a car with two dudes she's never met before.
I think I vaguely remember this story.
Probably. And the first thing she says to me when she gets in the car is, I fucking hate my parents. I'm like, well, that's great. We're off to a great start. Okay. With this. I'm like, coming in hot.
And you're like, well, I could be your daddy.
She had a smoker's voice too, as like probably a late teen, early 20 something.
How you doing,
she was out of high school. Oh, you're not far off.
Oh my God.
So we went to the bowling alley and we were talking, and I was, making small talk and whatnot. And I remember we were bowling. I was standing up talking with, I have two different friends, Jordan. They were both there. Only one of them rode with me. Excuse me. And I'm talking with both of them. We're standing up, just kind of, arms folded, just kind of shooting the shit, like just talking while people are bowling. And she comes up to me, drapes her arms around my shoulder, around my neck.
Hey,
looks to Jordan to her left, my right of me, my right, and goes, what would you do if I started having sex with him right here?
Whoa, hey, yo.
And then I'm like, and then starts like dry humping me, and I'm just standing there going, I don't know what to do with this.
Damn, she's like, I see you putting your finger in those balls. How about you put them somewhere else?
No, she was not that clever. And then she would like sit on my lap, and like she did, like, I wouldn't say it was a lap dance, but she would kind of do a little bit of grinding and shit like that.
Bumping and grinding in the bowling alley. My goodness.
Yeah, well, like not it was just fucking weird. The whole situation was weird. And I remember trying to leave. Well, we left, and I was going to drop her off back at home. And I remember no one wanted to ride with me anymore because she was in the
She
car.
did.
And I forced Jordan. I'm like, Jordan, you need to ride with me. I will not be alone in the car with this girl. She will jump me.
My virtue will be compromised.
Yes, I was still very much into that as well.
Yeah.
Still a virgin, still like waiting, saving myself till marriage, that kind of stuff. Growing up religious, all that stuff.
Yup.
And we drop her off. She texts me the next morning. She's like, "Hey, would you want to like be my boyfriend?" I'm like, "We just met. Can we hang out a few more times?" She's like, "I don't like people who are indecisive." I'm like, "I fucking just met you, lady. Come on."
Lady.
Yeah, I didn't.
She said,
Well,
I liked
almost-
playing with those bowling balls, but there were a couple of other balls I'd rather play with. Or I should say, there was a couple of other balls I wanted to get my hands on. And my mouth. And other parts of me.
Oh, man. One of the most uncomfortable experiences of my life.
Damn.
One of the most
so
uncomfortable. I remember there's other things where it's like she didn't understand like common expressions and stuff like that. Like, I don't remember anymore. I think someone said like, no, I don't remember. I remember her being kind of dumb, but I forget like what tipped me off on her being dumb.
Dang.
It was over a decade ago. It was before I dated Bryn. Like this is like years ago.
Wow.
Like over a decade ago. So
we're kissing and telling here tonight on Talk Tuesday on the Experience.
Talk Tuesday.
After
a gentleman
dark.
does tell, and a lady never asks.
Wow.
Oh my word!
What a time. Anyway, so yeah, this I don't know where to go next. The only other thing that I have to really talk about is I can show it off real quick.
Well, hopefully, let's bullshit a little bit. There's an ad break for another 10 seconds.
Well, thank you for letting me know.
You're welcome. It's maybe I should just stay not a subscriber to you.
I hate that that's actually really handy.
I know, right?
I've thought about just having another account on my phone
That would be
because I
smart.
watch the stream on my phone to make sure that like audio is working and so that I can see the chat. I mean, when we do Talk Tuesday, I can see the chat on my TV, but if I'm playing a game, excuse me, it's much harder to see. So I could just have, and it would give me an extra view every time too.
That's what I did for a while.
I hate that actually is enticing to me. I assume that the ad is over.
Yes, it is.
Just got, and I played this last Friday for Fighting Game Friday, and I will probably play it again for this Friday. I got this Capcom Fighting Collection 2. I'm realizing I have to probably say what it is because it's a tiny little Switch game on a tiny little screen.
It's pretty far away. He's a small boy.
This was the game that when it got announced in like January, I absolutely lost my shit because here's the games on here. Capcom versus SNK. I liked those two games. Some of the best sprite art I've ever seen. I've never been super into like King of Fighters, I'm mildly into Street Fighter, but it's a Capcom fighting game, so it's cool. Capcom Fighting Evolution, which is widely considered their worst video game of all time. Street Fighter Alpha 3 Upper, which is cool because I like the Alpha series because it's very anime. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's the stuff I'm mildly excited about. Then they have 4 of their 3D games from the arcade. Plasma Sword, which is basically they wanted to make a Star Wars fighting game, and Lucasfilm was like, no. And they're like, all right, well, we'll just make legally distinct Star Wars characters. And so that's how you got like freaking Hayato from Marvel vs. Capcom. There's literally a guy who's just like a shorter, wider Chewbacca. Project Justice, which is the sequel to Rival Schools and is a very fun, very quirky game that was on my top 10 Dreamcast games list. And both Power Stone games, that was the one for me. So Project Justice, I love a lot. Power Stone, I maybe should have been my number one on my Dreamcast list because I realized
I have a copy of that somewhere in my collection, like
nice.
the original Power Stone.
Yeah, I have the Power Stone 1. I don't have 2, which is fine because, and this is one of my hot takes, I don't really love the second one. I think they went a little bit too far into like the Super Smash Brothers party game kind of. They make it 4-player instead of 2 players. The camera's very zoomed out, so it's really hard to see what's going on. Stages are awesome though. If you could just do one-on-one, and maybe you can, I don't know if you can. If you could just do one-on-one with the stages of the second game, which had really cool hazards and it would transform and stuff, and you're on an airship and then it blows up and then you're just free falling out of the sky fighting each other. Like the stages are really cool, but it's just chaotic. There's a purity to the first one that I really like. So getting to play Power Stone online against other real humans was so cool, and I plan on doing it some more. I had a really, and they all play great. Like the online functionality was great. There's like a whole museum section of all like their amazing artwork for some of these games. Like the Bendis art that's just been like, I'm showing it, but I realize it's small. Jukebox of music and stuff.
I was just gonna say, even though I'm not a fighting game fan, I love the artwork for it, man. So I'm with you on that.
Yeah, and like they rearranged a bunch of music, like they made a bunch of new music for these games that are like 20 years old. They put a bunch of love into it, and it's very evident. And I
love to hear that.
God, yeah, it's very much a love letter. And it's on the Switch too, which is like I can just sit and play it, and I can play Power Stone online in bed if I want to. Like,
it's every 90s kid's wet dream.
Totally. I actually I played last Friday a little bit of all of them, and then I ended on Power Stone, and I was like, let me go online. I'll do an online match, and then I got on, matched up with this guy. Did okay. I think I won one round, but he won the match. Then then I hit rematch. Even though I lost, I was like, I'll try again. I hit rematch. Then he smoked me. Like it was like not even fair. He got it like a perfect round on me, and I was like, oh my god, that hurts. Okay, well, I don't want to end on a loss, so I will. I'll try one more. Whether I win or lose, this will probably be my last one. I was getting towards the end of the night. I quit out, go back and, search for a new match, get the same guy again. And then he wins, I think, the first round, and then I won 2 rounds after that. So I actually won the match, and it was really close, and I was like, he's really good, or maybe I'm just out of practice. But he's like smoked me the first 2 rounds. First 2 matches, so 4 rounds. Then I was like, I'll try one more time. And I actually like clutched it out. I felt really good about myself. I like got a good setup with my super attack and won. And I was like, that's awesome. I'm so glad. And he quit so fast. Like he was so salty about it. I was so mad. I was like, come on, bro. Like I lost, but then I rematched anyway because I'm just trying to have fun. And then you lost and you were like, oh, fuck this game. It's like, I hate that energy. I don't know.
That would be my energy. That's why I don't play fighting games.
That's that. You're not wrong. But it also came with a cool little.
You don't have to agree with me. You can just be like, no, Josh.
I've
you'd
seen
be fine. What are you talking about?
I've seen it, and that's okay. If you get tilted playing fighting games, like then maybe they're not for you. And
they're not for me. I wish they were. I really do. I have so little interest in trying to get good at them. Because the thing, I know I could, because with anything you practice, you get better. But generally, in order to get good, you have to get your face stomped in, and that's just not like I don't I don't feel like I'm learning anything when I get my face stomped in.
Right. I also feel that way, and I hate that. That's why I like playing against, and this is hard to do, but it's now easier than ever with, the internet and games being released like this on accessible consoles. Going on and just like playing some friendlies with somebody who's like you're around the same level at, or like playing a new game, I love playing a new fighting game for the first time with somebody who's also playing it for the first time, because neither of you know shit and you're just figuring things out, and it's such a fun way to learn.
Yeah, but then you still have the ground of it'd be like me play, like, for example, you don't like RTS games, right? Can't stand them. Totally valid. This
Right.
isn't like me ripping on that. If I played a brand new RTS game that I've never played before and you played with me, I would still be better than you because I have a basis of understanding RTS mechanics.
Sure.
And so I would still be in the same boat with a new fighting game. I would just get stuck with people who are good at other fighting games but are new to this one.
Maybe. I don't know. I think they're
At least with RTS, I can play co-op. Like, if you wanted to try out on RTS, we could play co-op against a shitty computer, and then we could play together.
Yeah.
But you can't really do that in fighting games.
Oh, can't you? So
Can you?
there are some games, including probably there's one coming out. I may have talked about this before. No, it's not called Project L anymore. A 2XKO, which is basically like the League of Legends fighting game. Slash Arcane, they just had a beta, like another beta a couple of weeks ago, and Police and I were playing it. And it's 2-on-2. That's why it's called a 2XKO. You can do 2 people on the same team with 2 controllers against 2 other people. So you can do co-op like in some fighting games, and it's a ton of fun. It's chaotic as all hell, but it's a lot of fun. So maybe that's the way
I
to
would
go.
not be a boat anchor. I'd be willing to try that at least. Because then I could be like, well, then you can just carry me like the baby I am.
Carry me like a baby. Don't expect me to carry you, James. No one's carried me since my mama.
What's that from?
That's from Pokemon. They show an episode where Jesse and James meet, and she's like, don't expect me to carry you. And he's like, no one's carried me since my mama. Love him. James is the best character of all of Pokemon.
That's fantastic. That's a great line.
But yeah, so last thing about this Capcom Fighting Collection, I know you probably can't see it, but it came with a little comic, which is like just a bunch of, I haven't read it yet, but it seems like just a bunch of different little mini comics by different artists. Like the style changes drastically. But it's cool. It's like, there's the classic, all the characters, from like Marvel vs. Capcom in here. Or, I mean, sorry, Capcom vs. SNK, Terry Bogard and Ryu and Ken and what's her face with, if there's a Dan Hibiki comic, the like joke character. But it's cool. And it's I like little, that's why I got this physical copy of this. 'Cause I like little, physical. I hate paying $40. It's also only $40, by the way, for 8 games. I hate playing.
I love the compilation stuff that they have now.
Yeah, and like we were saying, like the love that went into it. I hate paying $40 to $60 to $70 for some code, some ones and zeros that can be taken away at any time. They can't take away. They try to take away my Switch games. They're gonna have to pry from my cold dead hands.
It reminds me of so I have. You ever play the game Grease? GRIS.
Yes, very briefly. Beautiful. I never finished it though, or I played the demo, but I never actually bought it. I really want to.
So I bought a physical copy from Limited Run Games years ago, before Limited Run started kind of having shady business practices.
Oh no!
But yeah, it's a whole thing. It's a bummer because there's people who I not that I know personally, but I've interacted with. I've had them on the podcast before who work there, and they're good people. But Limited Run Games, it's got some shitty practices going on recently.
That's sad.
But yeah, check it. This is the manual that came with the game.
I love that art.
They have. It's all it is. It's just an art book.
So cool.
map. Look at that. It's stunning.
You know what this feels like? This feels like what it would look like if you zoomed in really close on Monument Valley.
Yeah. Look at that. It's just beautiful.
I still need to try Monument Valley 3, exclusive to Netflix games.
Isn't that wild?
So wild. I'm waiting for my TV to update the app because it's like coming soon. You'll soon be able to play Netflix games on the app, on the TV. And I was like, do it already so I can play Monument Valley.
Last thing I think before we wrap up, because I know you said you have stuff you got to get done tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
And I actually have to prep for an interview, not tomorrow, but a podcast interview for that book I showed you off stream.
Yeah.
Off stream, excuse me.
I'm so stoked.
That's hopefully going to be Thursday. I'm recording that. So we'll see how that goes. But I've been thinking about this somewhat recently. This could lead into a big conversation. Maybe we'll save it for next week or something like that. But I've been thinking about this somewhat recently. I miss like 2013 to like 2017 conventions, like that time span, right? Maybe 2018 or 19, up to the pandemic, like that 7-year span.
Yeah.
I know this is a weird hairpin turn, like it's not. No transition, but I when I was setting up my game room again, and I was just like looking at random stuff. Like, hold on, let me see here. We got where are you at? I just saw
Where are you at? Where are you at?
Like game hunting at conventions. Like this gem, Kabuki Quantum Fighter.
Kabuki Quantum Fighter?
Yeah, dude.
That sounds like
this is how Laboratories developed it too.
No way.
Yeah.
So wait, Sakurai made that?
I believe so.
Kabuki, what was it? Kabuki Cyber Fighter?
Quantum
Kabuki
Fighter. Quantum Fighter.
What? That's so funny.
You play. Do you want me to read the description of it?
Oh, please do. Please give me a dramatic reading. Like,
okay.
We're going to go back to the dramatic NES readings.
Manuals.
Do you remember those?
I do. And let me just see here. Does it... I don't see Iwata on here. But, because Iwata worked at HAL. But, okay. The plot. In the year 2056, a virus has appeared in the main defense computer of the planet Earth. The origin and nature are unknown. Players adopt the persona of 25-year-old Colonel Scott O'Connor, a military agent who has transferred his brain into raw binary code using experimental technology in order to combat a rogue program in the main defense computer. When O'Connor enters the system, his body forms the self-image of his great-great-grandfather, who was a kabuki actor.
Yes, my name's Scott O'Connor, and my great-great-grandfather was a kabuki actor. No, he fucking wasn't. He was a slave owner.
Hold on. So I was reading that from Wikipedia. Let me double-check. What does the actual, like, manual say, right?
Yeah.
This scan of it is not very good. Hold on just a moment. I don't want to buy the fucking thing. I just want to read it, you piece of shit. God damn it. Okay, here we go. I found a better scan of it. The story. The setting, Earth. The future. The defense computer protecting the entire planet has been invaded by a constantly mutating, evolving virus. Only one man, Colonel Scott O'Connor. Colonel Scott O'Connor has the courage to risk his life in an untested miracle weapon. Converted to raw data and transported into the circuits of the computer, Colonel Scott's molecular structure is transformed by the untested image transfer system. Into the circuits of the giant computer steps an unlikely superhero, the Quantum Fighter. 6 huge levels of exciting action. That's what it says there. So,
wow. 6 levels.
It's honestly like if you ever one of your like main weapons is your hair. You literally whip your hair back and forth. You literally whip your hair to defeat enemies.
Wow.
Like he headbangs and goes like a whip.
That's
It's
a Sindel
nuts.
special.
It is fantastic. I've never beaten it, but I really enjoy the game. And I always like to like talk about it because it's like who Kabuki Quantum Fighter, like what the fuck is that? It's like a weird obscure NES game.
I'll have to look that up. That's so funny. Kabuki
Yeah.
Quantum Fighter. What year did that come out?
Ugh, that's a good question. I already like hold on. It's for the NES, so like it's pretty late. 1990.
Okay, so yeah, that tracks. A couple years after Terminator.
Well, I mean, the NES came out after the first Terminator movie came out in like '84.
Yeah,
and the NES didn't come out into North America until 1985.
yeah. This sounds very Terminator inspired.
Right. But no, like I know it kind of transitioned off. Like I've just been missing that era of conventions and like game hunting there and finding weird stuff, and also just like I miss that era of retro gaming YouTube and just YouTube in general. You know, like I miss like the Retroware crew. I miss like back when the completionist wasn't a piece of shit, but apparently always was a piece of shit.
Oh wow.
Do you know who the completionist is? Right?
I know. I mean, I've seen the name around the internet all the time, but I never really watched any of their stuff.
So his stuff was great. He like legitimately, I really enjoyed his videos. It was they're really fun, well written, well edited, well researched, all this stuff. The reason why he's now like canceled for all intents and purposes, and actually completely canceled. He hasn't uploaded a video in forever now. He got caught. Basically, he would host a charity stream every year, and it was revealed that he never donated the money.
Oh my god.
With that said, he never spent it. It was sitting in a bank account. But even so, that just means that money was depreciating in value due to inflation, just
Right.
sitting there,
God.
So it is a whole story. I'm not going to go into the whole thing. Like, if you want to see like something wild, like you can look up, like Carl Jobst did a video of it, and it is just, it's crazy. His last video was from 9 months ago. Was his last video, and he released one video a year ago was his response to Carl Jobst, and Muhatar was the other one. Ordinary Gamers, I think, is the YouTube channel.
Okay.
They both did a lot of digging and just found that, like, no, things weren't adding up. The amount of money they said that they donated didn't make any sense because, like, between the money they brought in from subs and bits, because they would always say, like, all the subs and bits are going to go directly to the charity. I'm not taking any money for subs and bits during the charity stream. That money never went to the charity, right? So, and the reason is it was donated to the Open Hand Foundation, which is his family's charity, and then they distribute the money to, like, it was, I think it was for like Alzheimer's research was what it was supposed to be for, because his mom died of Alzheimer's. So like legitimate cause. And some people speculated, like, he didn't really know because his dad is the one who runs the charity. He's just kind of involved, but then so I don't know. I don't know what the whole thing is, but he hasn't made a video in 9 months now, at least, maybe 10.
Dang.
Yeah. So it's a bummer because, his videos were great and he did good work. He did a lot of cool shit, and that's just he's not really around anymore because of that. But anyway,
I can imagine why.
Right?
You know who I'm surprised, pleasantly surprised, is still occasionally making videos?
Who?
Zero Punctuation.
Oh, under the name Fully Ramblematic now.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I guess I haven't.
Oh, you didn't know about that? Oh, okay.
No.
So hold on.
Wait, did he break away from
The Escapist?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Wow, I'm
Buckle
so
up
out of the
your
loop.
sit-downs.
I brought this guy up and I have no idea what he's been doing.
Buckle up your sit down. So
Okay.
So the Escapists laid off a huge portion of their staff. Like Yahtzee not one of them because he's one of their biggest money makers, but Zero Punctuation, Yahtzee Kershaw not being one of them because it's one of the biggest money makers. And they created because I think his name was Nick. What was his? Hold on, I'm gonna have to like look now to be certain. It was Blue Sky. Let me go to his name was Nick. I know that, but I don't remember what his like last name was. Nick Calandra. He's the co-founder and editor-in-chief of Second Wind. They created a new company called Second Wind Group or Second Wind, and yeah, they were former. He was the former editor-in-chief of The Escapist.
Okay.
The company that owns The Escapist laid him off, kind of very unceremoniously, even though he was doing a great job. Laid him off, and the entire Escapist team, including Yahtzee, quit.
Whoa! Like in solidarity.
In solidarity.
That's awesome.
Quit. They then created Second Wind as kind of like a response, and it's doing pretty well. I don't know when they first went live, but Second Wind, worker-owned media, makes lots of video essays, podcasts, live streams. You know what? I'm from the former team of The Escapist. Yeah, so they pretty much did that, and they already have like over 1,000 videos published.
Whoa.
It's crazy. Yeah.
I'm so far out of the loop then. I was like, I think it's probably been like a year since I saw one of his videos, but still, we've been watching his stuff since we were teenagers, I think.
Oh, yeah. Their oldest video right now is only a year old.
Okay.
November. It'll be 2 years old in November, so it's like a year and a half.
Yeah, that sounds about right. That aligns with my timeline.
So yeah, they quit because in solidarity created Second Wind Group, and I don't know what's happened to The Escapist.
Haven't heard of him in a while, so
Let me see. So Escapist magazine is still up and running. There are still people writing for it, but they don't have Yahtzee anymore. So
similarly, I guess Game Informer is back.
Somewhat independent, but somewhat not, because it was bought out. The Game Informer was bought out by a crypto company, a crypto game developer.
What?
But they're given full editorial independence. So while they're owned by the company, they have editorial independence.
That was wild. They were like goodbye forever. Actually, just kidding.
I mean, well, they didn't know. Like they thought it was going to be goodbye forever, and then they're back. So it's kind of cool to see that. Like, there's been a lot of. Well, I think I told you the other week, my follower count on Blue Sky blew up,
right? Because of the
because of the media starter pack. Yeah. And because I was included in that, I got because Game Informer and Giant Bomb were closed down. Now Giant Bomb, no, sorry, it was Polygon and Giant Bomb.
Yeah.
And then all Game Informer comes back, Giant Bomb comes back as well, independent. They were able to buy it away from the group.
Nice.
So Giant Bomb's fully independent now, which is awesome. So it's really just showing there is a market for games media, but it has to be independent.
Yeah. There's no other way. The way that all the top, even the game companies are just hemorrhaging money. It's
which
absurd.
Makes no sense. It's because there's probably a whole bunch of reasons for it.
Yeah.
It's frustrating because someone was I was reading this somewhere else where the current indie space, right, is bad for indie game developers because it's used as a testing ground by bigger AAA studios will see what's popular with indie titles and then use it so they don't have to spend money on innovation. They can just copy what indie games are doing.
I hate that. And then on the other
I don't
end,
know if that's I don't know how valid that is, because I don't really see a lot of AAA games doing what indie games do.
Yeah.
But I don't know. There's a thing, basically the person was trying to argue, it was on Blue Sky, and the guy was trying to argue you shouldn't have to commercialize your hobby to justify it type of thing. I'm
God. Yeah.
I understand that. I think there is an element with the podcaster. It's do I feel like I'm playing the game for the podcast or for me? A lot of times I'll play a game for me and then just end up covering it on the podcast anyway, even though that wasn't the intention of it. But so I can understand that, but I don't know, like I enjoy doing this at the very least. I enjoy like kind of like the networking and like growth aspect of content creation, but I also don't really let it define my work. So maybe that's why it doesn't bother me as much.
Right. You're not chasing trends and trying to be like, oh my God, guys, get on Fortnite. Oh my God, it's a new fucking.
Here's my top 10 pussy cancer in video games.
Oh my God.
Bringing it all back, baby.
It's also like games are getting just more and more expensive. And like I heard something about how Final Fantasy 7 Part 2 and Final Fantasy 16, which were very well received, were commercial failures for Square Enix because they cost so much to make because they're just quadruple A. GTA 6 I think is gonna cost like $800 million or something.
Oh my God. This is why I don't necessarily have an issue with the games being raised to $70. I actually think that's super fair for a lot of it. I think 80 is too high, but I think 70 is like, with adjusting for inflation and higher costs for production, an extra $10 per game, like I'm willing to pay that if it decreases the stress on the developers and gives us more games.
Yeah,
like, I'm fine with that. I'm not cool with 80 because I think it's a little bit too high. Cough, cough, Mario Kart World.
Oh my God. Yeah, that whole thing. Every comment on anything they put out is drop the price, drop the price, drop the price.
I wasn't going to get a Switch anyway, a Switch 2 at launch anyway, but now I definitely can't afford it, and it won't be anytime soon with tariffs and other stuff. It is interesting though, like, because the weird thing is that I think in general games, like game systems, are going to be going up in price. I think that's just the fact of the matter right now because Sony increased their price mid-generation, which is crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And you never do that mid-generation. You always lower prices mid-generation to get more people to come on.
Right.
And on top of that, generally manufacturing costs go down. I don't even think it's tariffs that are doing this. I think there's just something that's like, something's just messed up right now.
Everything's just so stupidly expensive, and it's just going to continue.
I think I'm unfortunately going to have to be stepping away from current gaming trends for a little bit. I'm lucky I got my PS5 when I did.
Yeah.
Right? I got it like last year. I'm lucky I got it when I did because prices are going to go up.
I mean, PCs
lucky
will
for that.
Be more sustainable. It's a lot more upfront, but I feel like you'll be able to play for longer.
I hope so. We'll see what happens. I don't know, man. I think there's going to be a contraction in the gaming industry for a little bit. Like gaming's never going to go away.
No.
Right?
I think a massive change is going to happen though.
Yeah. A massive change is going to happen, and that's fine. It is what it is. But I don't know. To me, that just gives me more of a reason to go back to these retro games and like play more games in my collection. Now that I got a retro tank at the right time, so I can like.
Oh my God! Before the tariffs.
Well, I mean, I didn't even have to pay for it. I got a free one.
Did you?
Yeah, I won't say who, but a pal of mine from the podcast had an extra one that was sent to them from a fan. Like they're a much bigger content creator than I am. I'll tell you off stream who it is.
Yeah.
But they had they got sent one from a fan, and they gave me the extra one. It was very nice of them.
Awesome.
Extremely nice of them.
Yeah, because they're expensive.
They're very expensive. Yeah. And I understand there's like a 4K now, so it's not like I was asking for like the newest big like the that thing is $750 pre-tariffs. Pre-tariffs.
Yeah.
God knows what it would be with tariffs. So yeah, I'm very lucky. So I got a 5X for free. I didn't even have to pay money for it.
That's
amazing.
Awesome. I didn't know that. I remember you telling me that you got one, but I don't know if you told me that it was for free. Damn, that's cool.
Yeah, it was free.
The hookups.
Anyway, it is 10 o'clock.
Yep.
We should probably call.
Yeah, we could wrap
As
up. I like what you said about it. It's time to go back to the old stuff. I've been loving Chrono Trigger. I hope Drew is still here.
Oh yes! Oh my God! Yeah.
Been loving.
How far are you into
Chrono
it
Trigger.
now?
Probably about 8 hours.
That's a good chunk. Though.
7 or 8 hours.
Like what part of the game are you in? Like what story portion?
I just. I'm a little worried about spoilers, but I just put the sword together.
Spoilers for Chrono Trigger for those who haven't played it. Sorry, where are you at?
Oh yeah, I'm not going to say anything like super plot related. I just put Masamune together. I put the sword together.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're a chunk of the ways in.
Yeah.
I love that game, man. I think it's I think it holds up really well. I'm not saying the story is necessarily as groundbreaking as it probably would have been to someone who was young in like 1996 or
Right.
4 when I think 96 or 5 when it came. I think I fucking forget what year. I think it was 95. But
It had to have been because I talked to Drew about it this year for the 30th anniversary. Yeah.
Yes, so 95. But like, dude, like I think that battle system is fantastic.
Yeah. I like it a lot. I feel here's the one thing that I'll say. I don't want to go super deep until I beat it. I have a lot of thoughts. I'm writing down my thoughts because I keep having these moments where I'm like, I have to write this down. I know you're gonna maybe get a little bit angry when I say this, but I feel the same way that I felt playing Earthbound for the first time. Like I feel.
Why would I be angry for you saying that?
I thought you hate that game.
No, I don't hate that game.
Oh. Well,
no, I liked it. I think it's a little overhyped, but I think I liked it.
I was worried for nothing. Yeah, I feel that sense of wonder. I know. So I never had a Super NES growing up. I was a Sega kid, and still am. And playing games like Earthbound, playing games like Chrono Trigger, even though I didn't experience them when I was young, I feel like I have. I feel
misplaced nostalgia. You're nostalgic for something you didn't experience.
Yeah, I guess, but it's also like it just feels so it feels so Nintendo. Like the sounds, the music, the vibrant colors. One thing I will say, I almost cried at the opening cutscene. Like when you wait on the title screen for too long and it shows you like a bunch of clips from the game, that almost brought me to tears because it was so bright and vibrant and full of life. Full of life is, I think, how I would just describe that. And Earthbound, which is why I think they make me feel the same way. They're so charming and they're just rich. And I'm liking it. I'm enjoying it.
There's
a
a lot of environmental storytelling.
Yes.
Specifically, I believe, you've definitely passed this point when you go to the future and you see kind of the remnants of the Earth of what happened to it, and you kind of start piecing things together.
Yes,
like that's intense. There's a lot of parallels to modern day life too.
Yeah. Oh my God, I'll talk about that at length once I beat it. But yeah, I think Drew said you could probably beat it in like 30 hours, so I'm probably maybe a quarter of the way through.
Yeah, it's a decent length game. I forget how long it took me, but yeah,
maybe it's a good
length.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Thanks for hanging out. This was a fun one. This was a weird one. I can't wait to go back and re-experience some of these things.
Always look forward to these, man. I shouldn't say always, but it's not because of you. It's someday, we've talked about it before off mic. Some days we're just having off days, but I was thinking about this literally the other night. I'm like, I'm excited for Talk Tuesday this week. No particular reason. I literally came up with the Pokemon card pack thing on like literally while I was just cleaning up the game room. The game room. There you go.
God damn it. This is like the 5th time.
Yeah, but I'm not playing, so it doesn't matter.
But you still lose.
Nope, because I'm not playing. And I refuse to acknowledge that other rule says people who don't know they're playing, because that's not fair. And if people don't know they're not playing are still being held accountable to it, I therefore reject the reality of the game, and I'm not playing.
But they're not being held accountable to it, aren't they?
Yes, they are, because that's the rules of the game.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm losing
Anyway,
the thread.
I know, me too. I know what you're saying though, because like last week I was like, I'm so tired. I had a really shitty day that day too, and I was like, I don't want to go and be on and like try to be entertaining, but I loved our episode last week, which is up on YouTube if anyone wants to go watch it. It was very funny, and we talked about teats and furries.
We always find something to sink our teeth into. I'll have to come up with like you know what, we can, if we remember for next week.
Yeah.
I was talking to my employee at work today. She has a son who wrote an essay, and her son's in high school, right? About physical versus digital media and why we need physical media more than ever.
Ooh.
And I was like, whoa, this is a teenager talking about this shit? Like, that makes me happy to hear that the younger people, from what he said, and we'll keep this light because I think this is a really fun conversation we could have for next week. But he basically was like, not just because of like ownership, that's my angle. Like, I want to own the games that I buy, or own the movies that I buy. And the whole thing is like, the government can just take away, like, he doesn't want the government to be able to censor this stuff. And normally I would be like a conspiracy theorist. I'm like, that's a little crazy. That's not, we literally have seen books being banned from schools.
Doing it. I mean, and with streaming services, they'll just pull if they pull something off of a streaming service and then they're not making a physical copy of it, it's gone forever. Like,
unless you sail the seven seas, right?
You already hard.
So it's a really interesting topic, and I was going from the more preservationist standpoint. Mm-hmm. He was going after the more censorship standpoint.
Yeah,
and I was like,
also valid
from like a 18-year-old, right? 17 or 18-year-old, like talking about, like, thinking about this far in the future. And when my employee was telling me about this, I'm like, God damn, nice. I like this.
That's cool. Yeah, I would love to talk about that next time. And when you said that reminded me, last time we talked about how last time you said you were going to watch Top Gun for next time.
Still have not done it.
Okay.
Still have not done it.
Well,
we'll get around to it at some point.
Someday.
Whenever. But, all right, we should probably wrap this up.
Watch it before Val Kilmer's body gets too cold that he actually becomes ice, man. God. Yeah.
You should be ashamed of yourself for that one.
I am. Anyway, have a good night.
Goodbye. And I'll tell you off mic who that person is. You just wait there.
All right. Goodbye.